Whew. Peace, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is December 31st, 2018. I hope that you are well and got my coffee. And for some of you that have know what's been going on for me, you know that this past has been a test. It also called me to required me to attend a friend of a attend, gotta get my mind right. Some of you know that this past week was a challenge, emotional challenge for me because of the fact that you knew that I had to go and attend a homecoming and had a direct impact in my life. And I'm back now. I'm back. It's early in the morning, and not to ramble. I had a lot of synchronicities during that time, a lot of emotional validations poking at me, a lot of illustrations of, do you get the message now? Do you understand what I'm showing you? And the one thing that I've realized for some, this may not apply to you, but maybe indirectly you have taken note that year, collectively out of the last 5 years, has been the most trying in one way or another. And we are coming to a close of a former season going into a new. When I'm referring to 2019. So while I was gone these last couple days, from the time that I left to the time I returned, it was eye opening. I The rain was not, the weather was not cooperating. Ended up getting into an accident. I'm okay. My vehicle's okay, but still got into an accident, and I still was not going to allow myself to allow my surroundings. And I realized already that there are requirements for the new task ready, proverbially go into 2019 with a literal bang. Now, for some people, that might be terrifying, and for others, this might be the norm. But the one thing that I kept seeing a constant reminder, a constant message was this: you got to get comfortable with your discomfort. No longer can you just sit aside and say, hey, I don't see it. I don't want to engage into it. Because far too long, your life gains strength to the point that it will get you to a place of numbness. It is nothing but, and I'm saying that, family, because the one thing that was in my spirit was the fact that life is too short. Life is too short. Even the non-believers have themselves in person man knoweth the time or the moment. Nobody has a cornerstone of their mortality. No one. So, if anything, 2019 and the things that you did you hear me, family? Did you hear me? I know this may sound old to some. I know some of y'all may not want to hear I'm what I'm saying to that. You are entitled to what you feel. You're entitled to your perspective biases too. But if you stop just for a second and survey what those biases are, you may also see a correlation of what may be the triggers of your behaviors. Now, I'm not saying this from a perspective of judgment because I am not perfect. Let me explain that. I'm not. I've never tried to convey a position. That's the furthest from human, just like you. However, I'm real, and I know that my physical form is only temporary. It is used as a means to get around this earthly realm. So, therefore, there must come a responsibility to protect yourself, to empower yourself, humble you, so that the things that you need are given. That means you must first and foremost be transparent to your needs. Well, how do you do that? You got to build that. You got to build that dialogue within yourself. You got to be comfortable that greets you every day when you wake up out of that sleep, because that's they are the keeper of your dreams and aspirations, and they are the validations of your effort, and as well milestones known as your legacy. So 2018 to a close today. Wherever you are, in a town near you, a state, first of all, remember nothing more important than what is found inside the head. I mean, nothing is important, more important than what matters inside. It is New Year's Eve, and I sell this year to a close, and you have every right to responsibly, safely, because I can tell you right off the bat, if you turn on your TV, wherever you are, you're gonna have a reality check because your local media is as you were sleeping. Unfortunately, people that did not wake up to see this day. There were people laid down and they never got a chance to watch the sunrise. Why? Because they ain't here. Some of y'all might be saying, well, you know what, Gerald? They reap what they sow. They knew what they were getting into because it was a choice to be. You do. You do. No one you wish. You must first co-sign it or sign off in your mind before your physical aspects brings. And I get that too. Not to sound like this is not a rant. This is just a validation. Because I know that for some of you, you've been waiting for things to say, but I would be remiss to speak on this because what I wish to say for the new year, without this one, because I want to top this off real quick. And most of you will find this video sometime today. Some video when you find it. But that's how my videos are. They're not about time, it's about when it's meant. Why? Because it was that moment where it was the time it was intended for you to hear this. So I just hope that top my coffee off. I'll be right back. Give me a minute. Two minutes. I definitely don't know how to, still don't know how to pause this. Pause it. But that's not how I do anyway. Because I let it flow. gonna, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna do something different because I'm gonna try that a while. But am I down? Because I want y'all to see me. It's still kind of dark, but you don't see me. You don't come up here to see my. You come to hear what I have to say, not what the background is. And I'll try real hard to edit this, but I got a lot. And get this right. See if I can get it right. Okay, cool. So, for some of y'all that have been kind of following me this last week, so like I said, y'all know that unfortunately I had to attend a funeral, um, which no one can prepare for uh, when it comes to someone passing. No one can prepare for that. We always talk about it, but the greatest impact is after the ceremony is done, when we reflect on words shared, moments embraced, and reflections of that time. And I'll tell you, I got, and the one thing that I embraced while I was there that was so prolific is the fact that we take for granted the bonds and the time that we have. We take that for granted because we automatically assume that we're going to be able to have that conversation if and when we so choose. But really, we don't. Really, we don't have that choice. So there's a requirement for each and every person to be mindful of what is conveyed, what is shared, and what is left undone because you may not have the opportunity to say I love you, or you may not have that opportunity to make a correction in something that was conveyed or expressed in a point of emotion. And that makes me think about collectively for 2018. 2018, there was a lot of emotion presented. There was a lot of energy being displayed very recklessly. A lot of mic drop, mic dropping moments, like boom. Now what you gonna do with it? And a lot of it was done because of impulse and not having the proper tools or even having the ability to really tap into our emotions. And it just seems like 2018 was all about sensitize. Who cares what you think? I'm gonna do it anyway. But what if you don't have the opportunity to undo it? Because The one thing that you can't do is take back words that have fallen from your mouth. You can't just say, "Oh, let me get that back. Let me do a spell check on that. Let me let me make sure that it is politically correct." But indirectly, we do have control because we have the ability to think, to analyze, and then act. Why am I saying that? Because I think 2019 will be the year that many of you will take a position of, I can't do this no more. You're going to finally get to that place where you say, this is not in my best interest and I need to make corrections. May it be for your environment, may it be for your mental self. I really believe 2019 is about reflection and correction. I do. I do wholeheartedly. What I would be remiss, family, to tell you, I learned a lot these last 120 hours. I learned a lot that I did not know, and I saw illustrations of things that inspired me more than ever. Inspired me. And I mean, I know that people say, well, yeah, I can start it today, but I'll get around to it. Y'all gotta look at it from a different perspective, family. You got to. Y'all gotta be real with yourself. Since we want to use that term of being real, don't you realize the term being real should also equate to, and if it don't, what are you doing? Are you living your best life? I know y'all know the Duval song. I know y'all know it. But when you take away the comedic uh, tones in that song and look at it a little deeper, what is he saying? Peace, Chief. I didn't know my chat was on, but there it is. Peace to you. Because it all is connected. Every bit of what you do. How can you how can you truly make your dreams your reality if you ain't in a place of peace? How can you? This 2019 might be the year that you may say, we'll just say, let's talk about your economic foundation. Some of y'all may be contemplating this for a minute. You say, you know what? I like what I do, but honestly, it is not giving me the resource that I need. And you may be feeling a certain kind of way inside you. Don't betray that feeling. Let that feeling be your motivation to where you need to be. Some of you may be towing the line in a relationship because you know I'm going to go there. I got to. All you've ever wanted was it to be balanced. But the validation that you have been receiving, it ain't balanced. It's just been repetitive. And because of what you perceive is the integrity of yourself, because you may say, well, I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to give them time. Maybe I'm missing something. Well, these are good approaches. But at the end of the day, that farmer can't complain that his crops are not growing if he or she is not planting the seed. It is just an empty field. Now, some of you may turn around and say, well, you know what? I've known this all along, Joe. I've been waiting to bring 2018 to a close because every time I turn around, it feels like I'm getting kicked in the face. I'm getting sucker punched. I'm always having to get back up. But I commend you for getting back up. Life should not be one of the comic relief. Your life is not the punchline. Your life should be celebrated. And it'll only be celebrated by the people that share the commonalities of what is found in your mind. Let it sink in. Because if you're mad right now, you have a right to be angry. You have a right. Because you know what that anger is? That's motivation for you to do better. Motivation to give yourself what you rightfully need. And the question is, will you hear it? Or will you allow it to pass you by just like the Far Side song? Because if it's divinely meant for your life, family, you'll constantly see that echo play out over and again and again and again until you do. But the caveat is, once again, you're not promised you're going to wake up tomorrow. You're not. That is real. I don't wish this on nobody, but unfortunately, because this is the world that we live in, it is 8 o'clock, 8:06 in the East Coast time. And guess what? Somebody's phone is ringing right now because someone's loved one is laying on a slab. And they're calling for you to come down here and identify next of kin. That's real. So what I'm saying to each and every one of you in the intended time and moment, if and when you find this video, let 2019 be your best year ever. Let it be. Now here's the flip side of that. Because we live in a world of duality, you're going to have some people that are going to try to stand in your way. You're going to have some people that are going to try to sabotage what you're trying to do. So you got to make a decision. You can be there. You can be their CNN and tell them everything that you're doing and allow them to sprinkle salt in your life, make life harder, or you can learn to have some privacy about yourself. Because no one knows what you think or do until you reveal it to them. No, I'm not saying, Gerald, you talking about have secrets? No, I'm not. I'm saying protect your dreams. I'm saying protect your dreams. That's what I'm saying. But your dreams are exactly that. until the moment you acknowledge they exist inside you. That's what I'm saying. Now, some people will turn around and say, well, you know what? I'm good where I am, Gerald. I got life the way I want it. Or do you? Are you just accepting the norm? Are you accepting the breadcrumbs of life when in actuality you have earned the right to have the low? Some of you may have already gotten to a point that you said, well, Gerald, the tools that I have with myself, my life now, they have served me well. But I must admit to myself, I need to gain more knowledge. But I'm afraid. Some of you are about to make the biggest shift ever and pursue your knowledge. I commend you on that. I commend you on that. But just make sure whatever you decide to do is for you. It's not for the people that's in the mirror every day. And you get the little crust in your eyes and your breath smell like new, look like, yeah, that person. Because what you're looking at is that little boy and that little girl still inside you today. That's you. That's who you owe your efforts to. That little boy, that little girl that still lives in you. You may be in a situation where you feel that you got so much responsibility and circumstances you can't get around to you. You got to put your life on the back burner, but then deep down inside, you have some resentment. You feel this longing and this yearning inside you that's saying, my heart is pure, but what about me? When am I going to finally have my time? It happens when you finally decide to hear your true voice. No, it's not the one that's angry. No, it's not the one that says, am I crazy? I gotta get my hair done. Y'all see my hair is so curly, and it's been a couple weeks since I got it done, but I'll be going to getting it done. But I'm letting my hair grow as it should have. I should have never cut my dreads. Shouldn't have never cut them. Um, but I mean, some of y'all. I mean, don't like I said. I'm not trying to sound like a Debbie Down. I'm not. But just think about it from this perspective. If you had to wager it, or if you had to have a proverbial line of the haves compared to the have nots, what are the haves doing? And what is it that the have nots refuse to do? I can tell you right off the bat what the have nots are not doing. They don't see their promise. They don't see they don't see their self-worth. They don't see how unique they really are. And they've gotten to a place where their surroundings dictate their response. They may even believe that they've become a martyr. Well, I'm doing this because it's in the best interest for everybody. Well, aren't you everybody? Aren't you part of that? Well, I'm doing this because, you know, it's in the best interest of me. Yeah, but what are you sacrificing? What are you allowing to be ransomed from your day to day? What is it? Now, I can tell you if it's a perspective of you feel that you're missing out on what's going on outside your door. I'm here to remind you that it's outside your door for a reason, and it'll be there until you decide to claim it. It is also on the same parallel of this. It's like materialism. You realize, imagine you go to your favorite store, right? Imagine. And we'll just say there's an article of clothing that you adore it. You just know that you love that. You can like, I need to possess that, right? But that price point on that article of clothing, realistically, that's outside of your budget, right? Just work with me. But guess what? Legitimately, it has no value to the person that hung it up on the. The value comes when the person comes to possess it and take it home. So you're putting value on that, on something that 9 times out of 10 you'll forget that you had it 8 months from now. Some of y'all know I'm guilty of it too. I got stuff in my closet that still got the tags on it. But I'm a seasonal shopper anyway because I already know my sense of style. I know what looks good on me and what does not. And I don't get caught up on brand. I stay focused on quality. That's why brands come and go because they're nothing but triggers. That's all they are. Can this idea persuade you to invest in it? That's what it is. Now imagine that same concept, but what is being displayed is you. Because the truth of the matter is, you're priceless. Always have been, always shall be. So it's a responsibility of who and what you allow access to you. Now, some of y'all not gonna get it. I get that, and some of y'all gonna go through an unfortunate cycle where you're just gonna have a lot of things avalanche in your life. Some of y'all gonna go through that because you've gotten accustomed to reacting in crisis. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You think better when your back's to the wall. You're used to having restraint, but that's how you've been acclimated to go through your world. That's how you do. You think quick on your feet, you are efficient, and you produce. So you handle crisis well. Now, are you applying that same thing to your emotional self, though? What about that? I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, you don't. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. That means that's just something that you need to take hand. You need to dive in. So let me move on a little bit. You guys have heard me through the years always echo about you have to allow yourself to purge. But I realize to be able to purge anything, to have first of all, you've got to admit its value to you, as well as understand that, hey, look here, It's like, for example, if you know you are a size 12 shoe, why are you holding on to those? Like, oh, well, I never really wore them. I always liked it. But you wear a size 12 now. You legitimately wear a size 12. Why are you holding on to that size 10? That's the same thing when it comes to our relationships. May it be emotional, may it be financial, may it be social. Why are you holding on to you know you've outgrown? Is it because you're afraid to say, to admit to yourself, well, I don't have a reason to say goodbye, so I don't want to say goodbye? But what does it serve though? What does it? You got people that this might hurt somebody, but I got to be real with you because I love each and every one of you, and I want 2019 to be the best. You have your life to look at your life as a means of distraction because they don't want to reflect in theirs. So they spend more time watching what you are doing than being proactive and focusing on what they need to do. You know, they're the ones that are always got something to say, but they don't illustrate it in their own endeavors. That may be that may be friends you grew up with. That may be family that you can. And if it is a family situation, because we don't have the ability to purge our family, their blood, and they're connected through bonds. May it be, you know, by marriage. When it's in those situations, or it may be a situation such as it's your parents. Ooh, ooh, what? Okay, okay, he gone there now, huh? Huh? He gone there. It might be your parents. It might be your siblings. Going there. He's going deep. How can you have ill will towards somebody that shares the same DNA and bloodline as you? What do you do then? About that for a second. I'll be right back. Be right back, okay? Because this will probably end up editing this. But think about what I just said. What do you do when it comes to the human dynamic? And while you're thinking about that, think about everything that has been shown. Not only team, I'll do one better. Why don't you go back 3 more years? Think about that and think about where you are right now. Give me a second. Have you done it? Thank you for those who stuck around, and thank you for those who will see this in the intended time. Now, look at it from this perspective. It is New Year's Eve 2018, 8:27 East Coast time. Realize how much in transition your life has been. Do you realize how many people you interacted with, the highs, the lows, the moments that were, and the moments that were plateaus where you knew that something had to give, something you wanted change bad, but you just didn't know how to go about it. Even to the point, maybe you may have gotten to a point where you felt, am I the crazy one? Is it me? Is it something I'm missing? No, it ain't. What is required, family, is that you have outlook, a different approach. And if anything, you can admit to yourself, because you're going to reflect on this year, just like you have reflected on moments in your past. This is what makes your wisdom, and this is what your insight, this is what makes the foundation of it. But the key is, are you going to apply it? Are you going to apply it? Because if you don't apply it, guess what? That's just like trying to unlock a door with a broken key. You're not getting in. You haven't figured it out yet. And it may be presented right in front of you, and you just have yet to take notice. And a lot of times that could be just stemmed off of fear. You know, fear. Finally, everything's a reality. If you don't like what makes your reality, what's keeping you? Because you're not required to do so. You're not. And I'm a firm believer that no one can make you do anything you wish not to do. Nobody. No one has that power. But I'm going to tell you what, everybody knows somebody that they were miserable when you met them. They were miserable while they have access to it, and they refuse to change it. That's who they are. That's not your burden. That's not your responsibility to cheer them up. Now, I'm not saying, hey, somebody significant of your life and you're going to take the position of ignoring. No, because that would be far fetched. But you do have to be honest with whatever the state is going on in that environment. And you have a choice if you wish to partake in it too. You got so this goes back to what I've echoed all along. And some will have the courage to do it, and some won't. You need to look at your surroundings, and you need to look at those who have access to your life, and you have to honestly ask yourself, what is the value of me being there? What is the benefit of my investment? May it be financially, socially, emotionally. Why? Because if it's not spawning, if it doesn't inspire the best you to come out, you are willfully giving yourself to something that will never yield you what you desire. You will never get it. It will never come. It's kind of like someone proverbially reaching out for that brass ring, and they're so close, but they never grab it. That's your happiness. That's your stability. That's your growth. That's your truth. I'm just saying, because it ain't no secret. There's a lot of broken people on this planet and hurt people like to hurt people because misery loves company, family. Misery is that endless table. It is. And there should be a seat waiting in your heart of hearts. You already know that you're better than that. You already know that because you see how it out. You see the struggles that they are going through unneedlessly. And that is nothing but it's just like trying to listen to a CD that got a scratch in it. Right back to work, play again, keep doing. Someone says, I need to take this out. I need to remove this. I need to replace it. So the real question I'm asking to y'all is, what you gonna do? You gonna listen to that same melody that played out this past year? You gonna bring that same energy in the new year, or to do something different? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Now, for some people that are gonna say, "Well, Gerald, I know that I've been waiting for a long time, and really, I was within myself. I was trying to be diplomatic and just wait till the end of the year, or you may have an exit strategy or something. Maybe that's what you doing. You were just waiting for the appropriate time, and then you were going to exit stage left. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter. You can see that exit. It matters not until you decide to step to that door, and even the door, and turn that knob, and that threshold is open until you decide to walk through. Guess closed. That chapter ain't closed. What I'm saying, family, your family, and I hope that you have a prosperous new year. If you ain't heard it first, I'm letting you know now because keep in mind there are people in your life who feel this energy right now. There are people that want to hear from you, that just want to hear that, and they love you dearly. That's for somebody. I just felt that to you, the intended heart moment. But we have allowed society to use tactics to convince us that what is deemed the status quo is acceptable, and you know in your heart and heart it's not. Hell, excuse me. The scriptures said, Revelations, I'm just paraphrasing, Many will be deceived. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all, that's why a lot of people don't want to talk about spirituality. And I said, well, that sounds religious. Let me tell you something. When you hear people talk about, well, I'm religious, you know what the word religious means? The word religious, if you break it down, means pattern. I've never said I'm a person because when you break that down, means connect. That's why I don't fear man. I don't fear man, but I fear God or whoever you deem your higher source. Because who you pray to, who you meditate to, connect to, that's your business. I would be a fool and mankind does not know his real name or supreme source or whatever that you use as a identifier because I know it was in the Bible or whatever your doctrine of choice may be that that question of thy name it could not be comprehended by the mind. So that tell you right there. And I'm just throwing that out there because you still have a lot of people that really do not realize. And I'm not going to go on a I'm not going to go on a tangent. I got to throw this out there though. Of what they feel, react. But how some see is something that you can feel and stop you in your track. You sit and wonder why the direction push it to. I'll break it down to a people can relate. Peel the scale. I've always said that we were spiritual beings before we were physical beings. I've always and I believe that because if we weren't, how's it that the fact that someone can see you and cause you to stand still can just say something, it will still have the of what it was said five. How about your childhood? How about when you was a little boy, a little girl, and your peers, the little things they may have said to you, and it made you feel a certain kind of way. Some of y'all are grown, but if someone was to ever bring that up, it would bring you back to what you felt like when you were that age. Words have power, always have, always will. Because what is a word? Word is nothing but frequency, and the human body reacts off of two frequencies: love, fear. Otherwise, how could you? Why would it matter? Why does hearing someone have so much magnitude? Or better, when someone says, I'm disappointed. Why? Because your spirit feels that. I'll let you chew on that for a minute. Because there are people on the planet that believe that everything that was given was used. You have some people believe that, you know what, that was nothing but a tool to emasculate and suppress the unknown. And you have theologians out there, and you have a lot of people, even still to this day, that are using technology to, to debunk a lot of stuff. Atlantic theory. We all know that. Wait, there are people already here. Just like a lot of people also know this. When you look at the globe, you look at the globe, right? Why do look now? If you have any of faith, some of y'all know that I'm talking about the Great Flood, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Because why is it that, we'll just say hypothetically, why is it some areas, deserts, but how do you have a desert without sand? And where does sand come from? The destruction of rock over periods of time. Sand normally find. Where do you normally find? So my point I'm trying to make, when you look at the globe, you can also say that where there once was water, you have desert, and there was land always connected. And free that creation fair. Man was found in Africa. So what would make you think that not one person said, you know what, I want to see what's on the other side of that hill? What's over there? Just look at it from a hunting survival mode. What hunters do, they follow. So you're gonna tell me that people didn't migrate? But people are entitled to believe what they wish, and you're entitled. So if you're entitled to do as you wish, why won't you make the decision that this is the year that you're not going to take no crap? This is the year that you're going to plan. But guess what? Before you can go all in on anything, you got to go without. That means you're going to have to let go. How can you go forward if you're anchored here? How can you? You can't. Now, proverbially, because I don't, there's a chain, and you put in their food bowl right outside their reach. They see it, they can smell it. Something got to give. Something got to give. And eventually they survive. They either survive or perish. Just edit some of this stuff and bring it down because there was a couple times that I stepped away. 2019 family, I make this up, make this that things that you were not putting up with, tolerating things, leave it on this day. Say, hey, New leaf. I'm not doing that no more. I'm not doing that because if your efforts do not spawn, do not spawn a sense of peace or aspiration, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? That's all. That's all I'm saying. Because you're gonna have some people, family. I hate to tell you, they're not gonna step in their comfort zone because all they know is this album. You realize how you know what? I ain't trying to sound put it out there. You realize how many people are gonna before, but they're gonna be millions of texts because they don't have the integrity. They're gonna show. Oh, you're gonna like, well, you know what? I've been thinking. I've decided. It's not you, it's me. Let me tell you something. Relationship with somebody, and they are the example. So if drama, confusion, and pain is your reality, you can look at them because that's exactly what they're showing you. Because guess what? They can't be there unless you. If you are the person that is bringing these negative things, you're not. You turn out the way you think it is until you decide to acknowledge what is present and take ownership for where you've been. So you got a lot of people that got this mentality of saying, "Well, you, you know, she got, she got baggage too. Really, you should be flying." You see it all. You see it. You spend more time in confusion. Every time I try to leave, she break my stuff up. He said that I don't be strong. So basically, you're being held ransom. You're being held hostage in a relationship that you're in. But guess what? That ain't a relationship. That's fine. You might as well be in indentured servitude. You gotta. Well, he gets me. Does he get you because he had to go and then make up? That's what y'all do. People that are not waking up because of domestic violence, and that's another thing too. Because I done ran. If you in a relationship, it's because there's something that to you got to check. You got to check yourself. Been in a bad one after, and you're like, man, every time I get in one, it ends up the same way. Maybe you not supposed to be in a relationship with that thing, but you know what's being illustrated? You will not have dreams until you have with yourself. You do have some people in this world that will not, that secretly they're afraid to be alone. I gotta have somebody in my life. No, that actually, and you given yourself away to never appreciate you. They will never love you no matter what you do, no matter what you sacrifice. It doesn't matter if you got a PhD in the bedroom. They now I got them, and I'm gonna set up resolutions for 2019, family. But what's required for you to set up is you stand up on what you believe to be true and allow checks and balances. But if it doesn't, that's not where you put. And I do one better. Just maybe that till you deal with this. So before you end this day, give out. Tell yourself you love you. Then, which may be hard for some people, go get that device called cell phone and you go through that. You come with a bunch of no. You have to answer yourself this. They're the reason why you don't have it. It's time to love yourself, family. Make 2019 about loving you and letting the real you be seen. Because when you decide to let the real you be seen, the real people will acknowledge it and they will measure that. Because your pride told you that. So, on out to celebrate. Please be safe, family. Please be safe. Even though we know, trust me, I know. I got a, like I said, I had a rear end I'm going to. Lady just stopped. There's nothing I can do. But thank goodness bumper. Slow down. Finish it up. Love to hear from you. And if I don't, may 2019 be your best year. If anything, you're coming out. No matter how, whatever that may mean to you, this is to your health. 19 is the year you're going to say, you know what, real with my year, you're going to say, you know, to myself. So I'm going to go make sure it's the best. I'll tell you this. There are people that have access to your life right now that hope that you do nothing. They like you the way you are, and they're terrified that you're going to change. Because if you grow, guess what that's going to do? It's going to force them to either reciprocate that same or get left behind. That's okay. Not everybody's supposed to know your story, family, but being have a role in it. And the person that is intended will try it because guess what? They're connected to you. That might be your husband, might be your wife, that might be the in siblings. Because your siblings, if you're a parent, watch, you are teaching. Relationships are about by your actions. You don't want baby girl to be ripping and running. Well, guess five. So, what are those five direct people in your life showing you? Are they a great example, or are they keeping you distracted? Question is yours. Have a blessed 2019 family.